was a mistake made. There was, you know, Jeremy's a dummy. This guitar has been with me for 1 entire year. This is my Showalter OM, and let's talk about this thing. Let's talk about what it's been like to live with this thing for 1 entire year. I made this guitar with Showalter Guitars. He has a calm spirit about him. I will link the process of building this guitar with him, but many mistakes were made, including me having a heavy hand, and hang on, yeah, there it is. I sanded through the side of my beloved guitar. We were way into the process, and I sanded through this guitar. So, I'm Jeremy. This is Guitar Hunter. Make sure you're subscribed. Let's jump into this thing. Up front, this guitar is quarter sawn sycamore. This is a beautiful piece of wood. Now, I learned a lot about sycamore as a tone wood. I learned a lot about sycamore in general. There are 2 ways to cut. There are probably more than 2, but the main 2 ways that you will see sycamore get cut is quarter sawn, which then introduces all of this extra figure, and by far, it's the way to go. The other one is rift sawn. When you rift saw it, it's much more streaky. I always think it looks like turkey bacon. It's just much more streaky and more movement, but you don't get that fleck. You don't get that striation. You don't get quarter sawn. Why wouldn't you? The next tone wood that is not part of this guitar's Shenandoah Valley heritage is that the ebony on this fingerboard is jet black and inky. Has a beautiful inlay from my friend Nathan Wright down in McMinnville, Tennessee. We did ebony there and back here on this back stripe. The head plate of the guitar is beautiful walnut. This is walnut that grew up here in the valley, and on the back of the headstock there is a walnut stripe down the middle. Now, the most beautiful and captivating part of this guitar to me, well, there's a bunch, but one of my strong convictions on this guitar is that I wanted Osage orange on the back and sides. And this is a really hard wood. It grows up in the US, but Osage orange is a beautiful wood. It's like mustardy golden yellow at first. But then, I mean, and you can look at this. This guitar, it's kind of amazing how much this thing has changed in the 1 year that I have owned it. The last couple things we did on this guitar, in the process of building this guitar, I made a giant mistake, and I sanded through the side. And so we had to figure out what to do to fix my heavy-handed nature. A mistake turns into a kind of a beautiful and poetic thing that Virginia is by my heart here. And so we get the beautiful outline of Virginia in sycamore against that Osage orange. It is wild within a year. I mean, look, there's not nearly as much contrast as there once was, which I think that's a good mercy on this side, that it's not as glaringly like, there was a mistake made, there was, you know, Jeremy's a dummy. That's how I feel about it in my head, but this guitar. The only thing we had to do in addition to that is that I had sanded through the binding. So we had to make a splice. So actually the binding we had to take off from here and take all the way back around. So there's a new piece of binding, but you can barely see it. There's one little line right there. throughout the process of building this guitar, I knew that we would end up with a really beautiful guitar. That sycamore top, the Osage orange back and sides, the idea that we used Osage orange for the bridge on the top, I mean, all of those were unusual choices, and I was choosing a place, and you know, like the wood from a place to make a guitar that would be cool and visually beautiful for YouTube videos. But I wasn't sure. I was concerned. The whole time I wasn't sure. I was like, I know we're gonna have a pretty guitar. I don't know if we're gonna have a good sounding guitar. I was concerned that the guitar would be clunky, not sound good, not resonate. I was concerned that it would be muddy sounding and not have much treble. And the first time we strung it up, the first time we played it, I was very pleasantly surprised, which is good because it's, I mean, it's a dear friend building a guitar, but it's also, I mean, we know it's very unique and different. So the guitar ended up, from my perspective of when it started to now, it started as a very punchy, very bassy, very thick sounding guitar, and it has since opened up and become a little more trebly, and that's been a really welcome addition to its just tonal characteristics. So it is now, with the help of a really screaming setup from Nathan Wright, it is now a really bright, really present, really clear sounding guitar. It's very much like my Waterloo. It's X-braced. My Waterloo is ladder braced, but this guitar sounds like that. It is thumpy and punchy, and so there are certain strings that don't work as well on it. I actually have nickel bronze strings on it right now, and they're an interesting choice. They're not for every guitar, but with those nickel bronze, I mean, they become very dark very quickly. So anyway, this guitar over the year, the things that have surprised me most, it looks very, very different now than it looked a year ago. A year ago, it was so zingy and bright and lemony bright in that orange on the sycamore, or sorry, on the Osage orange on the top. And then the back and sides were like bright and powerful and mustardy and punchy, and they've really mellowed out. They're very golden now. I'm surprised at the bridge at how quickly that has changed. It seems to have changed more than the back and sides. But the bridge now has some like darkness to it. The back of the neck has definitely become, the back of the headstock and the neck have really mellowed out. Eventually, in a couple of years, they will be dark and they will look like oak, which is really crazy. Steve said it was going to be 5 to 7 years, but I'm surprised at how much has changed in 1 year. But overall, the tone has opened up over the year, and the quality and just the color of the guitars have become so rich and wonderful. I'm excited to grow old with this guitar. Over the last year, I've had a very, very close family member to me struggling with cancer. It has been a very, very hard thing to be directly in front of. And this guitar was the guitar that showed up with me, that came with me. We just finished it. We went to Nashville to be with this family member, and this was the song that we sang worship songs, and we sang hymns, and we played Christmas music, and we just sang songs, and we, like, my father-in-law loves Johnny Cash, so we played a bunch of old Johnny Cash tunes, and so this guitar immediately jumped into the life of my family, and I have played this guitar a lot, and it is beautiful, and it's very unique. It does not sound like a guitar of this shape. It's an orchestra model shape, but it sounds like a big boomy dreadnought. It is beautiful and articulate, and it's powerful. That's the thing. It has so much gas in the tank. And so this guitar has been with me for a year, and it's amazing how much it's opened up. So I'm going to check this out, and then I'm going to play the same song that I played the first time I played this guitar, and hopefully you'll hear how different this guitar sounds this time around. Thanks for watching. I'm Jeremy. I'm the Guitar Hunter. If you ever get the chance to build your own guitar, you should do it. If you have not played a Showalter guitar, which the overwhelming majority of you have not, you should talk to Steve. You should get one of his guitars. They are remarkable, and it means a lot to me that I own a Showalter guitar, and this is a guitar that will never leave me. It will be here forever. It's going with me in a couple days, because this guitar is going to play at the funeral. Thanks for watching. There's something about the snow seems to argue. as every flake have to fall. Something about this season without reason, so don't keep me waiting. So don't keep me waiting. Something about this season without reason, the cold takes all the joy from your bones, and it says, I'm just winging stuff. So don't keep me waiting. So don't keep me waiting. And you said redemption would come, and you said these dry bones would live. I am so cold, I am so lost, but you'll come to me, and I'll wait here for you. So don't keep me waiting, and I'll wait for you. I'll wait for you. I'll